Old Colonel Sanders' claim for fame might be his secretive chicken recipe, but he also had many other recipes he had tried, and he actually released a cookbook, 20 favorite recipes of Colonel Sanders. One stood out to me the most. I wanted to start with this one because I'd never had it before, knew it existed. It's called Buttermilk Pie. As you can see, the recipe states that churned buttermilk works best. I thought I would make the butter and the buttermilk from scratch. So let's start with that. So I just threw a 1 liter of cream into my mixer. I was kind of winging it, and it ended up being just enough. So threw that in, started it off kind of slow until it began to thicken, and then let it go, and it turned into whipped cream. I pushed it past there for quite a while, and then before I knew it, kind of happened quickly, it all came together as butter. Lifted that out of there. You're gonna be left with some floating pieces of butter in there, so you're just gonna want to take some cheesecloth, or I used a strainer, get that out of there, and as you can see, I had 2 cups of buttermilk. Next, you're gonna want to rinse your butter out, put it in some water and fold it, and keep changing the water until it runs clear. Then you can add some salt for flavor, or then you can shape it. You can make it really long, or make some butter people, or you could just put it in the classic brick shape. That's what I did. I was trying to be an adult about it. Now, if you're going to want to make this kooky Colonel Sanders pie, you want to start out with 4 eggs, add in 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Beat that together until it has a lemony kind of color. Now, this is the point where I probably should have stopped. That's lemon colored, but for whatever reason, I just pressed on, and it was kind of like a pale yellow. I don't know if it really matters, but at this point, you can add in 2 tablespoons of flour. Once you take a minute to kind of beat that flour in, you can just put it aside and grab a new bowl where we're going to mix in 4 tablespoons of melted butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, and the grated zest of 1 lemon, and 3 tablespoons of the lemon juice. Mix it all together and add that into your egg mixture and give that a good mix. You can see my butter kind of solidified in that cold buttermilk. I just zipped it up there, 1-2 skidoo, and it was good enough. Added a little bit of salt because I forgot to add it to the butter, and it's ready to go in a pre-cooked pie shell. I used a frozen grocery store pie shell. And let's get this onto a tray. It's a little bit over full, and get that cleaned up into a 375-degree oven for half an hour per the recipe. Let that set overnight. Cut her up in the morning, and this is not set. This is too runny, but I tried it anyways. I made it, and this was like the best thing I'd ever tasted. It was so good. I decided, I'm gonna make this again. So get some butter going, buttermilk, got the eggs, mixed it until lemony. This time I added everything into the buttermilk, but I used the buttermilk directly after making it. I didn't refrigerate it overnight. Same with the butter, added that in, and it did not clump, maybe a tiny bit, but this felt instrumentally better. Added it into the egg mixture, and this was smooth. This looked like it was going to be a lot better. Here we go, into the pie shell again, and this time I followed another recipe. I decided to try 350 degrees, did it for about 45 minutes, and there we go. This is already looking a little bit more caramelized. Let it set until the morning and cut out a piece, and there. This must be what the old Colonel had in mind. And to taste test this one, I already knew what I was getting into, but the consistency was better, and man, I loved this pie. Like I said, I've never had this before, didn't know it existed, and I ate it all. It had such a mild lemony flavor that it pulled it together so well with the vanilla, and yeah, I ate that all for once, and I would recommend this for anyone.